You are the star of the show.
All right.
Oh, man. Well, here we are for another round. And we're in a new location.
Okay.
How about that?
That sounds good. Seems like we can go somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. That's how we want to start off.
Now, you're sure that this window is not letting too much light in?
No, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. We're not even worried about light, really. The sound is going to get soaked into that blanket that's over it. So that was really what the main concern was. So yeah, no, we're in perfect shape.
All right.
Perfect shape. But yeah, so, let's see. I'm thinking right now a lot about finances, right? Because we just left the bank. We were doing some transactions and some money moves earlier today.
Okay.
So I actually want to start off asking you specifically about money, and I guess what I'm thinking of is like, I know that for a lot of people, a lot of families, especially when we talk about covering again across different generations, there's there can be like a stigma that like we don't really talk about, people's financial business, like, don't worry about what I'm doing, you do what you do, I'm gonna do what I do, and what have you. But I'm curious to know like where your financial background came from, like when did you first start to get into like owning property, being a businessman, and like managing your money, if you don't mind me asking.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind asking. Yeah.
So I mean, like, was that something that you picked up in school, or because I know you were working while you were in school, or did that kind of come afterwards?
As far as my personal savings.
Yeah, like just in general, just like how you came to view money. When it came to saving, how often you spend. Like just all this kind of things. Like who would you say, if you had to put like one or two people, however many it was, like who would you say kind of taught you how to be financially savvy? Like,
well, I didn't take a financial savings course, but my father, he was the main one. He told us if we make $1, save a dime. And that kind of stuck. And it wasn't just for me, it was for the family. All of us heard him say that more than one time. So I think that's where the savings kicked in. And I think he learned it from his father. But I never knew his father because he passed before my father got married. So we didn't know him. But some of the things that he taught his family passed on to us. And I think that's how that kicked off.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So he was kind of like the first person that told you about saving.
Yes.
And then did you see like your older brothers doing that on a bigger level than where you were at that time?
Let's see, how did that check out? I think we each picked that up kind of on our own. We heard him say it, but it sounded good, and we tuned into it, and that's how it got started. And my father, he always said, save some of what you make. Don't spend it all. Save some for a rainy day. And we asked the question, how how come he didn't have any money? He knew that the savings. He said his father taught them, if you make $1, save a dime. A dime didn't sound like much, but it meant something. It established your saving habits. And we saved pennies, picked up pennies wherever we saw them on the ground, and we put it in a saving spot. So that's kind of what got us into savings. As far as how much you save, his saying was, make $1, save a dime. And how else did he say that? Oh, little pennies in a pile, they make $1 after a while. So we picked up on that, saving pennies, and build it to $1.
Over time, it adds up, right?
It adds up, yeah. Little pennies in a pile make $1 after a while. And that's kind of where we picked up on saving at least 10% of what you make.
And is that something that you carried into your adult years as well?
Yes.
Gotcha.
And my kids picked up on that also. So, see, we used to have to go to the place where we bought whatever we was paying on. We go back to where we bought to pay the payment. You didn't have all these choices. You can pay it from home.
Online.
On the app. We didn't have such a thing as that.
So if you was paying the water bill, you had to go to the water department.
To the water department, yeah. And so that's how we caught on to the savings. Now, we had a house, but we didn't build this house. My grandfather, I guess the house was there when they bought the place or something. I don't remember. Nothing about building this house, but we lived in it, and so we got to live there. And what would he tell us about the house? I can't even think of how we got this house, but by my father having the biggest family on the place, that was the biggest house on the place. And so they voted that he should have the biggest house.
Okay.
He had the biggest family.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And this is a house in Mississippi, right? In Lexington?
Yes.
Okay.
And we didn't do moving. The one house we lived in, we didn't move a lot. And when we did move, we moved out of one house on a place and moved into another house on a place. That was the big house that was bigger. He had the biggest family, so he should have the biggest house.
Gotcha.
So now, do you have anything written down, or are you just going to ask questions concerning?
I got a couple things written down. I was gonna ask you just now when you spoke about going to have to physically, pay the bills and things like that. I was gonna just ask you about the process that you had mentioned to me earlier, as far as that transition from getting the cash checks on payday to direct deposit, and how easy or difficult was that for people to grasp?
Yeah, well, it wasn't easy for a lot of people because all their life and their parents' life, there was no such thing as direct deposit. Yeah, and when they said you had to do it, some of them, they didn't agree with it. I want to see my check in my hand. I don't want no, I don't want no direct deposit. They didn't understand that. So, and that was a big change in their life and their way of living. And they tried to not use it. But that third time when they came around and said, you either gonna have direct deposit or you're gonna work someplace else. Well, that kind of brought them about, horned them in.
Hey, give them that ultimatum.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah. So, and I remember that well. When they first came around, they just took like an application and you had a choice. Okay, so there's a few took it on, but not many. There was quite a few that didn't. And the second time they came a little stronger. He said the company is switching over to direct deposit. And they explained it, went through it. What that meant was you wasn't going to get no check in your hand like you been getting. You're going to get a deposit directly into the bank. So they didn't agree with that. So you know how they talk after the meeting is over. No,
that's not for me.
No.
They doing all of that.
They mumbling now. Man, nobody understood it. But when they came around and said, you're going to accept direct deposit or you're going to work somewhere else.
That's what did it.
That's what did it.
And they came around 3 times. So when did you come around to it? Did you listen the first time or?
No, the second time
the
when
second
they came
time.
around, yeah.
You was like, okay, they for real.
Yeah. And then I talked to some of the upper people that supposedly know more than I know. I don't know if they did or not, but that second time I had talked to people off the staff and they said, well, this direct deposit don't mean they're going to take your money. You're going to be, instead of you getting it as a check like you used to, they're going to send it directly to your bank.
Right. And
most of the people didn't even have a bank. They working off of, So, but when they said you're going to either go to a direct deposit or you'll work someplace else. And that did it. That drew in all the ones that was holding out. and they talked about it and but they wound up coming on over.
So did you have a bank account at that time? Or did the direct deposit kind of force you to have a bank account?
Let me see. Did I have a bank? Yes, I had a bank at that time. So I knew a little bit about the bank system. Most of them didn't.
So you was already ahead of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hadn't thought about that point until you mentioned that, but I remember now I did have a bank account.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
that's good. And I mean, that's kind of like we circle back to why I asked you about your dad and like who got you interested or even thinking about savings and just financial literacy in the first place, because obviously it's important. But you seem like
it wasn't available.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, we Papa always talked about saving. He believed in saving, and he saved to the point where he didn't have no more to save. His family kept growing until saving overlapped. It wasn't doing what it's supposed to do.
Right.
Because he wasn't making enough to make it work for him.
Right. I'd imagine with a big family, it's kind of hard.
It's hard.
When you got 14 kids, right?
Yeah.
And a wife. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot going on. So
that's 16 people you got to feed.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's one reason why that we never got out of debt. We didn't have no big debt, but we never got out of the little debt because we didn't have the money working for us.
Right.
Yeah. We were saving. We got on the pennies and nickels and dimes, but we should have been on the dollars, the quarters, and the 50 cents, and so on like that.
Right.
And we could have done a lot more.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Did you ever get into investing?
It was on a small scale. I guess I could say yes, but I never was able to save enough to invest.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know about investing, so that kind of left us outside of the mainstream there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's another one of those common things that I feel like we just don't talk about,
Right.
And people don't know about it,
Uh-huh.
But like I said, I mean, all in all, I feel like you were ahead of the curve, just even in that story that you just told, with you already having a bank account, when a lot of people who you were working with didn't even have bank accounts. They probably just took their money and put it under a mattress or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Well,
they put it where they could go back and get it if they needed it.
Mm-hmm.
And most time they needed it before they got some more money coming in. So you kept taken away from your savings before time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. And you never, money don't just automatically reproduce itself. You have to have a system where you put so much each time you get a certain amount.
Right.
You put a percentage of that in your bank.
Mm-hmm. So you're moving with intention.
Right.
Yeah. That makes sense. What is like one of the crazier things that you ever spent your money on? Like, is there ever like a point where you did something, maybe you regretted it, maybe you didn't, but it was like a really big financial move?
I bought a bicycle and I paid $8 for it. And everything was wrong with it.
From the moment you bought it?
Yeah, well, Papa had bought a bike, and Gene was the next one that would ride it. Papa, he wasn't no bike rider, wasn't no car driver, none of that. But then Gene kind of took over the bike.
Okay.
I didn't have one, so I wanted my own bike.
Right.
And talking to this guy, he says, I got one I'll let you have. And he wanted $12 for it. No, that's too much.
Right.
Yeah, so I got him down to $8. And that's what I paid him.
Okay.
$8. I had a flat before I got home.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, but the main thing was I had my own bike.
Right.
Now I got interested in what do I need to fix this bike so it can be rideable.
Right. You was invested at that point.
Yeah, but I didn't realize what I had done. I just knew I paid $8 for it. But I had to buy ties and tubes, because when I had the flat, now I can't ride. I gotta find out how do you fix a flat. So I asked the guys, what do you do? I got a flat on my bike, and I need to fix it. I don't know how to fix it, because I never owned a bike.
Right.
Okay. So the guy told me, he said, you got to take the tube out, and you got to put a patch on it tube. Where do I get a patch at? I said, well, you go to the bike store in town, and they got a little bike flat kit thing.
Okay.
You need one of those, because that carries several tubes and glue you need. And so whatever they say I needed, that's what I went and got.
Gotcha. And this was like the older kids who told you that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. And I bet that $8, that was a lot to save up, man.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So you must have been frustrated when you got a flat on the way home. Like, I done spent a whole $8.
Yeah.
Just to be out here walking my bike home.
Yeah. Well, I had $12, but I wasn't going to pay him for it. And he was telling me what was wrong with it. And no, that's $12. I mean, $8 is $12 is too much. So we got him down to 8.
That's smart.
And so that was an investment. Here's another thing. After I got the bike, I got the tires fixed, patched, and I had to buy. I don't remember now if I had to buy tires and tubes. And I know they both was in bad shape. And I think I had to buy 2 tires and 2 tubes. I think that's how it went. But it taught me something, because I learned how to fix the bike. And all the stuff the bike needed, I had to buy it, but then I learned how to fix it.
Right.
Now I got down to the rear end.
Okay.
So when I went to town, they told me I needed the rear end, because the bike was wobbling. It wasn't, the spokes had got bad, and it was wobbling. When I got to the town, I told the man I needed a rear end, and he said, well, come on, show me what your bike is like. And I showed him. He said, well, you could get by without the rear end. You need some spokes. Your spokes is all sprung. I said, well, how do I fix that? Getting in deep now.
One thing after another.
One after another. And the set of spokes cost $5. The rear end cost $10. Well, how do I put these spokes in if I buy a set? And the guy told me, he said, well, you need a spoke wrench. And I didn't know what a spoke wrench were. I ain't never had one.
He's speaking a whole other language now.
Yeah. And he showed me how to do the spokes, take the old spokes out. And he says, don't take them all out and then figuring you're going to put them all back. That ain't going to happen. You take one spoke out, put one in, and when you get through, your rear end it's got all the spokes in all the places where they need to be, because you're replacing them. You're not taking them out and laying them on the side, and you're going to put them together later. So I went through that phase. And when I put them spokes back, he told me how to tighten them. Don't tighten one all the way. You snug them.
Okay.
Go around, you snug them. And if they loose a little bit, snug them a little bit more. And keep on till you get them right. That's what I did.
Wow.
I rode up to the guy that had the bike, but he didn't learn what to do, how to fix it.
Right. He was done with it.
He was done. I rode up and he knew my bike was wobbling and wiggling and carrying on. When I rode up there, he heard the thing clucking because it was done right. Man, how did you do that? The guy told me how to do it at the bike shop. And now, guys was bringing their bikes to me to fix because they know mine was in bad shape, and I fixed it.
Proof is in the pudding there.
Yeah. So.
Did you charge people when you were repairing those bikes?
I charged them a little, not much.
So you made your $8 back?
Oh yeah, I made that back right away.
Man, you see what I'm saying? You had that business mindset.
Well, see, I didn't know that was a business. I thought you either got a good bike or you got a regular one.
Right.
Yeah.
It just made sense at the time.
Yeah.
But nah, basically, that's what I'm saying. That's powerful, you know, like that you just thought like that.
Yeah.
You know, to be willing to learn, be willing to invest, be willing to work and teach others as well, you know.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was a good thing. And because like I said, I didn't know I was going in business. I thought I was just fixing my bike. That's all I had in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But then after mine got fixed and they saw the results, then they'd come to me to bring their bikes.
That's all right.
So then I had to buy tools. When you take the chain off the sprocket, you got to have a wrench to fit that. We wasn't stocked with wrenches, and
so you had to go ahead and acquire it.
Yeah, had to get it.
Yeah. And how old were you around this time?
Oh man, I was under 10.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly, but it's on 8 or 10 somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, what that made me think. When did you start driving?
Well, I learned to shift the gears, and that was under 10. Oh, I was 8 or 10, somewhere like that.
Who let you in that car, 8 years old, shifting gears?
Well, see, people during that time, if their car quit, they'll put it under the shade tree and get another one. And that's what people done. So there were a couple of my uncles' cars was parked over by my grandmother's house.
Okay.
They had to got another car because something went wrong with that one. And we used to go over there and well, we watched the men shift the gears, and we learned the gears, how to shift them.
Okay.
And so that was the easy part. I've been shifting gears since way back when. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. And so when it was time to drive, I knew how to drive. I didn't know all I needed to know, but I knew how to shift the gears.
Right.
And so one thing that they didn't tell me, when you're going up a hill, you don't put the accelerator on the floor.
Right.
And that's what I did. I thought when we go up a hill before, we were pushing the car. And you got to push harder when you're going up a hill.
So let me give it some more gas.
Give it some more gas.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was funny in a way.
Yes, probably stalled out.
Yeah. So when I'm going up the hill, I just come around the curve, and I hadn't got the car straightened out. So I'm mashing on the accelerator to go up the hill, and I almost ran in the ditch because I was going too fast. And the man told me, he said, now when you come down that hill and you turn the curve, you put it in second gear, and then give it a little gas, not don't floor it. Give it a little gas. But I thought you had to really bear down. And nobody told me that, see.
That'll have you in trouble.
Yeah.
You'll mess around and get halfway up and start sliding back.
Yeah. So that's how I learned the gears, how to shift gears.
Okay.
So I've been shifting gears all my life. That's all we had.
Do you remember, I was gonna ask you if you remember what your first car was, but I have a feeling that the first car you drove wasn't your car, was it?
No, there was a guy, his father had a car and would let him drive. And then he would let me drive once we got away from the house.
Okay.
So I did a little bit of that, but not a lot, not a lot.
Yeah.
But knowing the gears, that was the big thing with a stick shift.
Right. Yeah, you definitely got to know that.
Yeah, you got to know the gears.
But do you remember what your first car was?
Yeah, it was a Ford.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Like a truck, or was it?
It was a car.
Okay.
I had, like I said, there was men that would let me drive their car. If they wanted, there's some of their family would need to go somewhere, they would get me to drive it.
Okay.
Because they done seen me drive and they know I drive decent and so on. So
Gotcha.
that's how it all works.
Man, that's good. That's cool.
Yeah.
What about when you spoke on May Day earlier, right?
Okay.
And how that was a big thing for the town, right?
Right.
But you didn't live in town, right? You lived a little ways away.
A good 10 miles.
10 miles, right? So how did you get to May Day? Did you walk, or were you driving at that time?
I wasn't driving per se. There's going to be a lot of cars going to be around that day, and I wasn't worried about getting to town. We always got to town. Somebody had a car or truck.
Okay.
And we got to town.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then in town, this is when you say town, you're talking about Lexington, right?
Right.
So at this time, what was Lexington comprised of? Like, was it the type of situation where it was kind of like one of everything? Was it a big town? You know, like, was it relatively small? Like,
Small town.
What was your experience there?
Town had, let's see, about 8 or 10 blocks. And that was the whole town. Now you had outside of town, there was a service station here, one horse and what have you. But the town, in town was about 8 blocks.
Man. So how many people would you say lived in town? Not a lot.
Not a lot. There was 2 banks. There was 2 hardwares. Because a lot of people, got hardware for the farm. They had to have equipment. So there was 2 hardwares. That was 3 service stations. And I'm trying to think of how many grocery stores we have. I know there was Liberty Cash. It was 3 or 4 grocery stores.
Okay.
And people would go. There was 2 movies.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Two we call them picture show. And there was 2 of those. And for years we thought the one was for white and one for black. But the black could go to the good movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
So why did you think that it was segregated? Did somebody tell you that?
Nobody told me about the movie, but we knew that segregation was heavy. That was in bloom. And I didn't know, there was a guy told me that you can go to the other movie. I didn't know you could go there because I never saw nobody go there.
Yeah.
And we always went to the one where the shoot 'em ups were.
Where we were.
Yeah. And so there was 2 movies, and there was no drive-in.
Hmm.
I didn't know about drive-ins until I came to Milwaukee.
Interesting.
We used to go to the drive-in.
What about schools? Was it like segregated schools too?
Yeah, yeah, segregated schools. Um, the how the school worked, it was only so many schools per county, and you go to the school. The one that didn't have no school, they had school in church. They had them little shotgun churches, and they went to school there during the week, and church on Sunday.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And I see Mount Holly they went to 11th grade. I don't know how they got 11th grade and not 12. And Lebanon, they had Lebanon had one school and one church, but they was built for a church. A little one shotgun house church. And how they arranged it was, if you was a good student, you could finish 8th grade, and then you could go to summer school 1 month that summer, and then now you can teach school.
Really?
In your community.
After 8th grade? Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty young.
I know.
That's pretty young.
But see, they wasn't particular about us learning nothing either.
Mm-hmm.
So they made it easy for people to teach, because you ain't going to be teaching their kids.
Right, right. That's just whatever y'all want to do.
Right. So they figured if you let them teach at 8th grade, when they finish 8th grade and go to 1 month summer school, and you can come back, and when school start, you can come back and teach. And there wasn't enough teachers even then.
Wow, really?
Because they wasn't learning nothing.
Yeah.
So, what are you gonna do?
Right. That's unfortunately, I guess something that's been around for a long time. There's not enough educators.
No.
Definitely not enough pay with the educators.
No. And there's a very few went from there on into getting their GED and advancing in education.
Mm-hmm.
No. But they wasn't intended for us to ever learn.
Wow.
Gonna keep you bound.
Mm-hmm. But that's why it was really a blessing to have people like the lady you mentioned before, Dr.
Mallory.
Yeah, Mallory. You said?
Yeah.
Yeah. She seemed like somebody who was extremely influential. And
She
very
had
important.
to be. She had to be. She the school didn't start out of high school. It started out of grade school.
Okay.
And then it grew into high school. Yeah. And she was able to keep that under control. She had control of the school.
Right.
They had a microphone, and when she blew in it, you hear it all over the school. She can put it in the room she want to.
Mm-hmm.
But when she would turn it on and hear too much noise, she just blow in it.
That got everybody back on page.
Everybody back on.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And I mean, especially being a woman doing that too, that had to be pretty. She had to be pretty brave and courageous.
Well, the lady was a nice looking lady.
Mm-hmm.
And she was heavy set.
Okay.
She wasn't on a little string bean.
Mm-hmm.
She was heavy set. And everybody was afraid of her. And not scared afraid,
Right.
was respect afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how she would do. And when she needed more teachers, somebody would teach the teachers how to respect her.
Mm-hmm.
She wouldn't take no junk. And she wasn't going through there knocking people down and yelling and swearing and all that. She had a strong voice, and she had ultimate respect. And there was only one like her, and she was it. Yeah.
And you said she also was not just influential to the students, but also to the teachers as well, right?
Yes.
Did she help with their pay as well? You said she helped them get paid more?
Well, I think when I mentioned about pay, I was talking in the area of the teachers was getting $30 a month. Mm. And that was big money, $30 a month.
Okay.
But there was a time when all the money didn't come in, and she paid teachers half of that. Mm. And they had to wait for the other half.
Ooh, I know they didn't like hearing that.
And some of them quit because there wasn't enough money. Well, I think that one teacher quit 3 times and came back.
When they realized there wasn't nothing else going on out there, huh? Came right
well,
back.
that plus the example that the president set.
Okay.
So he put that together, and they just made do. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. But that's where the money shortage came. See, the church was run by the school was run by the church. Mm-hmm. And when the church money didn't come in, they didn't have it to pay out.
Gotcha.
So
but she didn't want to shut down the school.
Yeah.
So she just asked them if they could accept half.
Half.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody would get something. That's what you would hear in the streets. Mm-hmm. Everybody would get something, and of course, it made sense. I mean, you wasn't used to getting $30 a month. That was extra.
Right. And what was the name of that school?
Saints Industrial and Literary School.
Saints
Industrial. And the industrial was part of the school because you didn't come there with last week's clothes on.
What do you mean?
I mean, you clean up.
Mm-hmm.
If you only had one pair of pants, you wash them, and they'll dry overnight.
Right.
And you wear them the next day.
Right.
Yeah. Now, there's some more to that. They had, I think it was 400 and plus acres of land.
Wow. Okay.
Now, the pastor of the church bought that land, and he didn't have no money.
Man, he just saw an opportunity.
Well, it was more than just an opportunity. He was in Lexington, and he got put in jail for preaching.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Was it illegal to preach like in public?
No, unless good folks said it was.
Mm.
A lot of people was preaching outside.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have no building. They just had a corner.
So,
And they preached. And this man was preaching, and they shut him down, put him in jail.
mm.
So, a storm came through and wrecked everything.
No.
The man says, get that nigga out of jail, give him whatever he wanted. He was trying to buy this land. They were saying no to him.
Hey, so they was like, go ahead and do your thing.
Yeah. That he can have all that land. Give it to him.
God is good, right?
I'm telling you. He know how to handle folks.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he said, give him whatever he want. Don't hold nothing back.
And that's how you get 400 acres.
Yeah.
Man. So then what happened with the 400 acres? What did he
He
do?
still got it.
Okay.
They've been trying to buy it back, but they won't sell it.
But did it ever, like, was that just where the church and the school were? Or did it turn into, like...
It added on to the campers.
Uh-huh.
You know, the campers was this much by that much. And then after that, there was fields, and they had cows and
Okay.
and orchards, and the kids later on, the kids that was coming from out of town, out of state,
Mm-hmm.
they were coming to stay in the dormitory,
Mm-hmm.
and they would harvest the crops.
Okay.
That was part of their tuition.
And if I remember correctly, you said that Uncle David was the leader of that group, right?
Later on, he was not at the time I'm talking now,
Okay.
because he hadn't even got familiar with the school at that time. He was too young.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he went. She came out to the house, to our house.
And got him.
Well, she came out and asked my mother and father if we need some help. And our man, I forget what happened, that he couldn't be in charge no more.
Mm-hmm.
And so they agreed to let David go down there and work. And then when David got there, he came back the next week. He said he needed me to help him.
I know you was like, leave me out of this.
Yeah. No, I was glad to go.
You were?
Yeah, I was glad to go. We went to the field, and I drove a tractor in the garden, the field part.
Oh, so you was having fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. And so that's how the school grew.
Mm.
In the summer, when school was out, she had people come there and build, what did I say? Dormitory.
Mm-hmm.
Build a dormitory over summer.
Wow. That's a lot of manpower. I would imagine that's not too easy to do. For kids, too?
Well, they wasn't all kids. They had some people that taken carpenter in school,
Mm-hmm.
and they came and worked. Yeah.
That's cool.
It was too good a thing to not develop on into bigger things.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of space. That's a lot of land.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, that makes sense to have church, dorms, school, gardens, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. And it taught them kids what was coming to spend their summer at the school site.
Mm-hmm.
Taught them how to can fruit and harvest their pears and apples and things off the trees. And that was what they did. See, they thought they were going to come and take over the campers, like they come home when they get ready and all that.
Mm-hmm.
No, you had to be at home at a certain time.
Mm-hmm. The curfew.
That all the kids that was there, I think she had to send 3 kids back home because they wouldn't act right.
Other than that, everybody else got with the program.
Got with the program. Because they thought they was going to come there and just show off, see. Now when they do something and they ain't got nobody to laugh, that's what they do.
Yeah, what's a class clown without an audience?
That's it. Yeah. So that's how the school grew. She had to get out there and but we're gonna get something recorded.
We're recording right now. Grandpa, don't do that. You did it the last time. We're recording.
Okay.
We're live.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the kids thought they were gonna come there and show off, and everybody gonna laugh at what they do, and they're gonna be running to school after a while. That's not how it works. You let 2 of the girls and 1 of the teachers, and I'll never forget her, Miss Martin.
Okay.
She was in charge of the girls going out, and she would let them go. Say, but you got to be back here at a certain time.
Right.
Okay, so they thought they was going uptown or downtown and have some fun. Well, it didn't turn out quite like that. They was past the curfew to come back. And she was sitting at the table, asleep. They came to the front door, and that was locked. So, okay, so we'll go in the back door. And she won't never know we wasn't here.
Right.
And they got about halfway up the stairs, and Miss Martin called them both by name. Stop here a minute before you go upstairs. Now, she done already been up there and saw they was missing.
Right, she already knew.
Already knew. But she was just taking a little nap, they thought.
Right.
But Miss Martin ain't going to sleep. And 2 of the girls out there? No, sir. So, now here they come crawling back. Yeah. But Miss Martin, she was a strict teacher.
Really?
But everybody liked Miss Martin.
Really?
Because she got it done.
So she got respect.
Got respect. Yeah. Yeah. Miss.
What did you, what did she teach you, like a specific class? Or she was, that's when they was
Miss Martin?
Everything. Yeah, yes.
She was our homeroom teacher. She gave out assignments for, say, on a Friday for Monday.
Okay.
She did that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Didn't play no game.
No, wherever Miss Martin went, if they sent for her, somebody's in trouble.
And that seems like the case with Miss Mallory too. Like it's like
no, that's bigger trouble. Okay. If Miss Martin, if the President Mallory called you to her office, you in some serious trouble. Yes, sir.
Oh man.
Miss Martin would handle the everyday stuff, ordinary stuff.
Right. Don't let it get up to it.
No, you don't want to go up to the president. Yeah, so that's how that worked. And didn't nobody sass President Mallory back. She told you to do something, you don't talk back. You're on your way to get it done. Because if you had to face her, you facing the whole teacher staff.
Yeah, you don't want that war.
Don't want that. Yeah, you face the whole teacher staff. We ain't gonna have you come here and run over our president. What she tell you, do it. Otherwise, you're dealing with all 12 of us, however many were.
Right. How they fans butts about it.
I'm telling you. Yeah. So that's how things went during her heyday.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So for today. I know I got a list of questions, but I know it's already kind of late. I'll probably ask more tomorrow. But is there anything else you want to add to that?
No, it's 5 o'clock. Let's see, is that 5 or 6?
Is it 5? I think it's 6.
6.
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Yeah.
We could cut it right there for now.
Well, I just wish that your family could have went to that school.
Yeah.
And we would have had a lot more input.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't happen, so we make the best of what we have.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But it's important to have good schooling, and it seemed like the foundation, the people who helped make that school, teachers and everybody, like, they all had the same kind of idea as far as, implementing structure.
Yeah.
And education is a
Yeah.
important thing.
She would put out, she always needed more male teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And we did never have enough male teachers. And she sent out a, what do you call it? You send out information and you want more teachers, male teachers.
Oh, like they were hiring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably had ads. Did they put ads in the paper?
I don't remember ads in the paper. It might have been, but I remember putting, it's something else you call it, but it would be like an ad in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
And several teachers came and got married after they came to the school.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was part of it. Miss what's the man's name? As well as I know his name, I can't call it. But he and the teacher came, a lady teacher came. They were filling ads that they had,
Mm-hmm.
and they got married. And
Wow.
so, well, she said, well, we got 2. We asked for 1, we got 2. Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah. But that was something. How that school was run, and how the people fell in line with the rules. Fell in line with the rules, and they enforced them and made it happen.
And it went a long way.
A long ways. And it would have went further than that if it hadn't been for some certain people got in the way, blocked some of this stuff.
As is the case, unfortunately, a lot of times.
Yeah. This lady had a dog. She had a Great Dane.
Oh, big dog.
Yeah. He was a big one. That's a big dog, Great Dane, right?
Those are like horses.
Yeah, yeah. She had one of them. And at night, during the summer, he stayed by the door. And if you coming in there, you better have a pass in dog language.
Because he's going to meet you there.
He's going to meet you at the door, right outside.
Mm-hmm.
Right outside the gate.